Okay, so tonight is Yom HaZikaron here in Israel, and it's also Parshas Emor, and I would like to try to incorporate the teachings of the Meor Einayim, the Heligot Chernobyl Rebbe, to this idea, to this to what we're like experiencing right now. Yom HaZikaron is the day of, it's the memorial day for all the people, for the fallen soldiers, for all the people that fell from acts of terrorism, and so every year, so in Israel, so we commemorate Yom HaZikaron the day before Yom HaTzmaut. Okay, and it's a very striking change. It's like the saddest thing in the world, which is going straight into the happiest thing in the world. Like Yom HaTzmaut is the fact that we're happy about the fact that we have our own state, that we have a safe place, that we have a place that we can just be Jews proudly, that we can thrive, that we can really flourish, that we can really be proud to be Jews, and have a place which is built around, let's build a Jewish community. And the day before that, so there's this Yom HaZikaron, which is to remember that it's not so simple. It's a little bit complicated. That in order to have this safe place, in order to have this amazing Kiddush Hashem, in order to have this place of being a light of Kedusha in the world, so a lot of people had to die. A lot of people had to give their lives, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of karbanot. So it's a really it's a really strange thing to go through, to experience every year, like this really deep down followed by this big high, and the truth is that this is something which is very paralleled in the period of time that we're in right now of Sefirat Haomer, and this is really what I want to talk about, like this parallel between Sefirat Haomer and this concept of Yom HaZikaron, to commemorate the fallen soldiers. So everybody knows that in the Jewish calendar, so we're in a period of time right now that Sefirat Haomer is the time that connects between Pesach and Shavuot. Okay, so what's the basic storyline? So Pesach, so Hashem took us out of Egypt, and that was amazing miracles. Okay, Hashem, there was 10 plagues. That the night of Pesach was the Makat Becharot, was the Hashem really just went all out, and he just took the lives of all the firstborns of the Egyptians. And then 6 days later, so we had splitting of the Red Sea, and it was a lot of clarity. There was really a lot of clarity that Hashem was being very, very open about the fact that I'm with you. Okay, and then the next day, so we found ourselves in the desert. We found ourselves in the desert, and the desert is a place that you can't live. The desert represents that there's no water, that there's no food, that it's hot, that you can't survive. Like a person, that's like one of the things that person benches Gema, is the person passes through the desert alive and he survives. Like that's considered a remarkable thing, that he was able to survive, that he went through the desert, and so when it talks about the desert, this is a metaphor for the exile. Okay, in the prophet Yechezkel, so it talks about Hashem putting us in the Midbar Ha'amim, in the desert of the nations of the world, meaning the desert of exile. That being in the desert means that you're not where you're supposed to be. That you're not, like when we're home, so then then we're not in the desert, and when we're in exile, so that's the Midbar Ha'amim. Being in the desert represents that things aren't the way, we're not in Kansas anymore. Okay, we don't have what we need, and this is a discomfort of being in the desert, and so we're in the desert, and we don't have water, and we don't have food, and we're complaining, and we're doubting, and we're having second thoughts, and we said to Moshe Rabbeinu that this was a big mistake. We really should have really stayed in Egypt. We would have been better to be slaves, and then through this down, so we deal with it, and 7 weeks later, so we have Shavuot. Shavuot is the greatest day. It's the highest day in the entire calendar. Is the day of Shavuot is the day that we we see God, that we connect with God in a deeper way, in the entire Jewish history. So the greatest revelation that ever existed was the revelation of Shavuot. Okay? It was the one time in Jewish history, the one time in world history, that God revealed himself to an entire nation. And this was the greatest spiritual occurrence in world history happened on Shavuot. So every year we're commemorating the fact of this closeness, that there is nothing that come close to this closeness that we have on Shavuot. So this is, what's the idea? What's the idea that of this middle stage? We have on Pesach, we have amazing closeness, we have amazing clarity, we have Hashem doing miracles for us. And then on Shavuot, we have this amazing closeness of revelation. And in the middle, so we have Sefirat Haomer. Okay? And Sefirat Haomer is being in the desert, being in the detachment of not feeling, being confused. And so why do we need this interim? Okay? This is what Sefirat Haomer is all about. This is like why do we need Sefirat Haomer? What is the idea of having this down? So he says he starts, the Einayim starts with an important teaching. He says ta'anug tmidi eno ta'anug. That something which is a constant pleasure isn't so enjoyable. Okay? In other words, somebody told me that if you want to talking about to tell your mom that if you want that there's a certain nutritionist said that if you want to get the most pleasure per your calories, so what you should do is you should only have one of everything. You should only have one of everything. Have like one fist of popcorn, one chocolate, one that in the enjoyment that you have from the first of anything is exponentially greater than the second. Okay? That you have the first chocolate, and then you say that was good, I want another one, but you have the second one just because that's what we're programmed to do. That if you like it once, then you take it again. But the truth is, the second one is much, much less of a enjoyment than the first one. So if we can condition ourselves to just take the first one, so we get the maximum enjoyment and the minimum calories. So it's a great plan, right? So, this is like, it's really true. It's really true that, right, the most enjoyment is always in the first time. Okay.
Economics term for like marginal utility or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So.
You can like quantify like the one more of something, how much it's worth to you. So like the more you have, the next one is worth less and less.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. So he says that this is why that in life, in the life that we experience, so something which is constant, something which is conscious, we get used to it and we enjoy it less, and that's why Hashem creates this reality that things are always going up and down. In order that we should actually enjoy life, it's necessary that we should have these downs, we should have these lackings, we have these distance, these detachments, this feeling of not having what we need. Okay? And he brings a pasuk. It's a famous pasuk in Yechezkel also. It says v'hachayot ratzov v'shov. Ratzov v'shov. It's a big concept in Chabad. It's really a big concept in all of Chassidus. That chayos ratzov v'shov means that ratzov v'shov means running up and returning down. That you need this constant dance of going forwards, going backwards, elevating, falling, and that's what life is all about. Chayut means life. Life is about going up and going down. That if you're just constant, then you're not really living. That the only way to really have life is to have this ups and downs. So in other words, that if you're just a vanilla kind of person, and like we know these people, right? They're just like they seem to have easy lives. That they just like do what they're supposed to do, and like they've been doing it for the past 30, 40 years, and we say like, why do we have such huge like dramas in our lives? And so the truth is that these people aren't really living. That's hachayos ratzov v'shov means that if you're not ratzov v'shov, then you're not really having chayut. You're not really living. Okay, so it's like you should never be jealous of these people, of these vanilla people.
I heard my aunts Rebbe, the Spinka Rebbe in Bnei Brak, he says there's two kinds of souls. There's like the chaos soul and then the peaceful soul. And some people just attract chaos, and that's just how their life is going to go. And you ask like why bad things happen to good people. It's like that's the kind of soul they have. That's his perspective.
I think chaos and peace. I would say that this is even talking about peace.
Yeah.
I would say that the chaos is a different thing.
Okay, chaos and I don't know the other word.
Chaos is something which has such an infinite soul that nothing works for them. That no. That no school system works for them. They're just,
so that's not a challenge.
That's
different than
I'm talking about just boring people.
Okay.
That it could be that some people are created boring, but their challenge in life is to overcome their boringness, is to realize that there's more to life than their 9-to-5 job.
Do you think that's like how people? That's why Baal Tshuvas and converts, like sometimes those are the people that have the most emunah that you'll come across. It's just they just have so much passion because they just like.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay. So v'chayis v'etz for sure means that the only way to really experience life is really only to have this lacking, and through the lacking, so I appreciate the return. I appreciate when I get there, and so if I wouldn't have this shav, then I wouldn't really be able to enjoy the ratzah. I wouldn't be able to enjoy the achievement. Okay. So this is like the reality that we're in right now. That the way, in the words of the Zohar, that there is no light besides the light that comes from a darkness. That if there wouldn't be darkness, then we wouldn't appreciate light. Okay? When we talk about light, the definition of light that we have it is that the ability to illuminate the darkness. And if there would be no such concept of darkness, then light would be irrelevant. Okay, so if light would be irrelevant, then there would be nothing to appreciate. Okay, so you need darkness because if there wouldn't be for darkness, there wouldn't be the ability to appreciate light. Okay, so that's what it is v'chayis v'etz v'shav, and that's why in this reality, so we need to have distance. Okay, so then he continues. This really connects to Sefirat Haomer, based on the statement of the Zohar, that the Zohar says that. How long is Sefirat Haomer? Sefirat Haomer is 7 weeks. So the Zohar says that the reason why Sefirat Haomer is 7 weeks is corresponding to the 7 days of Anida, that in order to become pure, so Anida needs to have Shiva Anakim, that she needs to purify herself for 7 days, and only then she's able to come. She's able to be tahara, to be permitted. So, at the time that Hashem took us out of Egypt, so we were so impure that it says we're in the 49th level of Tumah. So, just like Anida needs 7 levels of purity to be able to be permitted, so the Jewish people as a collective needed to purify themselves with 7 weeks of Shiva Nakim. Okay? Yeah.
Is there a correlation between the 49 levels? Because it's
7 times 7.
Yeah, 7 times
Exactly.
7.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the Zohar says that there's a correlation between Sefirat Haomer and the Shiva Nakim of Anida. Okay? So now, and the Gemara says about Nida, about family purity, that Gemara says in Mesachas Nida, Daf Lamed Aleph, it says why did Hashem command us of this mitzvah of Taharat HaMishpacha? That why did Hashem make this reality? That a woman is sometimes not permitted to be with her husband. So it's Kidei Shet Titchavev Al Ba'ala. That the reason is because that is the way that she's going to be beloved to her husband like the day he married her. Okay? In other words, that it's only because of the distance that they're able to really appreciate each other. That something which is constant, so you get sick of it, you get bored of it, and the only way that you can appreciate something is only if you have these distances. Okay? So Hashem put into the system that the way that he's going to make sure that Jewish marriages are going to work. He's going to make sure that nobody gets sick of each other, nobody gets bored of each other, because there's going to be this time of distance, there's going to be this time of yearning, this time of wishing I could be together. They're wishing that I could be in a better place, and that's what Shiva Nekiyim is built around, and that is what Sefirat Haomer is built around. Okay, in other words, that the whole reason why Hashem makes this reality that we have distance is because He wants us to appreciate the closeness to Him. He wants us to appreciate a relationship with Hashem. He wants us to appreciate dvekut, to appreciate revelation. And the only way that we're able to appreciate revelation is only if there is this lack, if there is this yearning, if there is this feeling that I wish I could be in a better place. Okay, so this is this reality that we're in, that we need to feel lacking in order to appreciate the geula. We need, if there wouldn't be a down, then we wouldn't appreciate the up, and that's why there needs to be a Yom HaZikaron before there's Yom HaTzmaut. There needs to be this lacking. There needs to be this feeling of pain, of that if there wouldn't be something, if we just come out of nowhere, we just come that here you go, now everything's good, so then we wouldn't appreciate it. The reason why we appreciate the geula so much is because that we know that when it was in Galut, it was really hard, it was really difficult. Okay, so now the Einayim continues, and by saying that this is actually not the ideal state of reality. That the truth is that it would be better if we could have a constant pleasure. And in fact, that when we have a geula, that when Mashiach comes, then it's going to be a constant pleasure forever. This is going to be the end of pain. There's going to be this reality that in order to appreciate goodness, you need to have pain, you need to have lacking. That's only because of the reality of Galut. It's only because of the exile, because we're in a down. But when everything is good, then that's going to change. That's going to be fixed. So, and that's really the essence. That's the essence of Geula. Geula is that we're going to be able to overcome this. That something is going to change within us. That we're not going to have this need for the Ratzov Hashov, for the ups and downs, and something's going to change. So what is it? What is it that's going to change? Okay, so to understand this, I want to reference an amazing teaching. I remember that this is actually one of the first teachings in my life that really like lit me up. That really like inspired me. Like that. It's part of a book. Part of a book that I can say is the first book that I saw that really inspired me in Judaism, to see that there's something way, way deeper than anything that I had seen before. And that's a book by Rabbi Akiva Tatz called Living Inspired. Okay, I read this book when I was like 16 years old. Mm-hmm. So I remember like after, like when I found out that his Rabbi Moshe Shapiro, that he lives in Israel, and like when I come to Israel, I can hear shiurim from him. Like it's because of this book that I merited to become a Talmud of Moshe Shapiro, so it's like, and I remember that this teaching, this particular teaching, the second chapter in Living Inspired, it's I think about inspiration and disappointment, he calls it, or why good things don't last. So you can check it out, the second chapter in Living Inspired. And I remember that this is like when I read this really, like, it really moved me in a very deep way. So he explains over there that this process, that why we need to have this process, why Hashem created this reality, that things start with a high and then they have to have this low. It's part of many parts in life, you know, that things always, like, we start with a lot of ambition, and like at some point, like it's things like seem to run out and seems to get boring, and so he explains that this is really part of the way that Hashem created the world, and this is the process of Pesach, Sefirat, Haomer, Shavuot. Okay, so Pesach Hashem showed us these amazing miracles, and then he needed to take it away. So why did he need to take it away? Why couldn't Hashem just constantly be showing us miracles? That's That's the real question. Why do we need to have this fall? Why do we need to have this low? So explain that the truth is that there is something wrong. There is something missing with the inspiration of Pesach, and that is precisely the fact that we didn't deserve it. Okay, that the problem with Pesach is the point is that we were in the 49th level of Toma, and we really the only reason why Hashem saved us is because He just loves us. There was no deserving factor whatsoever, and so the whole existence of Pesach was something that just happened to us. And when something happens to you, so it's not really a part of you. Okay, it's not really something that you're just you're being played with. You're a vehicle. You're an object. But that something that happens to you, so it can't last. It can't last. The mere fact that you're not taking a part in it, so that's why it can't last. So when something just happens to you and you didn't participate in it, so by nature it needs to go, because the only thing that can really last is something that you earned, something that you worked for, something that you participated in. And so by nature, if it just happened to you, so of course it's not going to last, because it's not really you. So the cycle is like this, that first something is going to happen to you, and then you're going to have a drop. But, and this is the important but, that when you have this drop, so there is going to be something left from that experience, something that's etched into your long-term memory, that even though it's not there, but you remember something. You have some echo of a memory of this experience that existed, and that echo, that memory is going to stay with you. And what is it going to do? It's going to inspire you to search to return back to that memory that you have. In other words, that we had a Pesach, we had Hashem showing us amazing inspiration, and then He had us to drop. Then what's the purpose of this drop? The purpose of the drop is that Hashem says that, if I'm always going to just be holding your hand, if I'm always going to be just showing you the way, then it's not really worth anything. So I want you to make this real. I want you to come to this yourself. But you remember how nice it was when I was with you? You have a little memory of that feeling, of that closeness? So that should inspire you. That should cheer you on. That should be your motivation to continue. And you can really get back to that level, but you can make it real. Okay? And that's what Sefirat Einayim is all about. Sefirat Einayim is that Hashem wants us to remember the high of Pesach, but to get to it ourselves. And Sefirat Einayim is about this inner work, about doing this, that step by step, little baby steps, but meaningful steps, and something that we're earning, something that we're achieving, something that we're internalizing. And only after 49 steps of making it ourselves, only then can we achieve something which is eternal, which is Shavuos, was going to be something that when we have the Geula, that's going to be something that we don't need to have, no longer have to have these ups and downs. And he continues that this is based on a teaching of the Shem Shmuel in the name of his father of the Sakhatrover. So he teaches that the month of Iyar that we're in right now. So hopefully next week we'll give an entire class on the month of Iyar. But the constellation of the month of Iyar is Taurus. Okay, Taurus is a bull. Okay, it's an ox. The month of Nisan is Aries. Aries is a calf. Okay, it's a sheep. I'm sorry. So, and the month of
It's a ram. I thought it was a ram.
Taurus is a ram.
Oh, Taurus is a ram.
Yeah, Aries is a sheep. So, and then Sivan is Gemini. Okay, Gemini is twins. Okay, so what does the sequence mean? What does the sequence represent? So sheep, Aries is that a sheep needs to be led by the shepherd. Okay, so Pesach is we're being very passive. We're letting Hashem take us to where He wants to take us. Okay, and then we have And then we have Taurus. Taurus is the bull. The bull, I mean, that represents I'm strong-minded. Like I'm very, like I'm doing my thing. Okay, and then that represents that's Iyar. That's this month. That this month is about, Taurus is about that I'm doing this myself. That I'm no longer dependent on this outside inspiration. I'm going to do this, my baby steps. I'm going to make it. I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to make it all the way. And then finally we come to Sivan. Sivan is Kabbalah Satara. Sivan is Shavuot. And when we come to Sivan, so then it's Gemini. Then we're equal. Then I no longer, it's not just me, that Hashem is meeting me in the middle.
What's Gemini? What name?
Twins.
Oh.
It's Sivan. Sivan is Kabbalah Satara, is Shavuot, is in Gemini, is in Sivan. So that twins represents this equality between Hashem dragging us to the highest levels and us dragging ourselves. Okay, we meet each other in Shavuot, we meet each other in the middle, and after 49 days of self-work, so Hashem comes down to us, and then we have something which is eternal. Okay, so this is the process of Mazal Taleh, Mazal Shor, Mazal Ta'omim, of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, that of these 3 months, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, Pesach, Sefirat, Emor, Shavuot, sorry, and this is the process of completion. Okay, so this really shows itself. This really plays itself out in many things in life. And like to know this secret is really the difference between success in life and failure in life. And this is first of all that it starts with really a Gemara Nida. It says that every Jew in the mother's womb, that when we're in the 9 months of pregnancy, so it says that we're learning the entire Torah. That every baby, every fetus learns the entire Torah. There's an angel that teaches him the entire Torah, and then before they come out, so the angel hits him on his mouth, and then he forgets everything. Okay, he forgets everything. So everybody asks, what's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of like if you're going to forget everything, so why bother learning, right? So the Midrashim explain that even though you forget everything, but you remember the memory of it. You remember the feeling. You remember that there's something that you're lacking. You remember the feeling of having more, and it's there in your subconscious. It's there in the bottom of the back of your mind somewhere. To the point that when you find the truth in life, so then it sounds familiar. And that's why that the way that we reveal truths, we don't create truths. We just reveal truths. Like the things when we hear something right, it resonates. What do you mean it resonates? It means that it sounds like there's something that that I knew that. I knew that it's something really true. So then when somebody tells you, you don't say like, wow, that sounds brand new. That sounds like, like, of course, what was I thinking? It sounds familiar from somewhere. Where's it familiar from? It's familiar because before we were born, so we knew it was true. So this is the secret of learning the Torah in the mother's womb. That this memory is etched in our subconscious. That we know that this is, and that's the inspiration that needs to be there. Because if it wouldn't be there, then we would never know that we can make it. We would never know what we're striving for. But it needs to go, because if we're going to stay in the mother's womb our entire lives, so then where we're going to go? It's not going to. That can't last. It's by nature this bubble that everything is very conditioned, everything is so perfect. So what's that worth? So because it's not worth anything, so it can't last. So this is also an important thing that in relationships, that this is that at the beginning of our relationships, so people fall in love. And when you think about falling in love, so when you fall in love, there's no reason why you fell in love. It just happened. There was a certain, I couldn't stop staring at her. I couldn't stop. There was just something about her. I don't know, her smile. And you just fall in love with somebody, and then you get married, and then at some point then you fall out of love. Okay? This is sorry to burst your bubble, girl, but it's not Chalila. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to you. It's gonna happen to you. It's gonna happen to your husband. And this is what when I teach Chatanim, I tell them that you have to get ready. You have to get ready that this always happens. That whenever I teach Chatanim, I tell them that be prepared that a year after you get married, you're going to wake up in the morning and say, what have I done? I hate her.
Oh no.
What was I thinking? You're going to say, you're going to think this too. You're going to wake up, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? And that's why I tell them that you need to, that when you're engaged, you need to make a list of like, why did I actually want to marry him? And this is like, you have to remind yourself like why this actually does make sense, because you're gonna wake up and say, what the bleep did I do? And so
Why are you scaring us?
Because otherwise you're a goner. This is why the secular world is failing in marriage. This is because they don't know the secret of Sefirat Haomer. This is why they all get divorced, because they fall in love, then they get married, then they fall out of love, and they don't know the secret of Sefirat Haomer, and they said, okay, I guess not. I guess I was mistaken. I guess of Sefirat Haomer. Okay, and because they don't know this class, you're going to have to tell Hadassah and that if you don't know the secret, then you're going to fail in life.
Rabbi, this is very off topic. Can I make a basamim?
Sure. So that if you don't know that this is the way of the world, then you're going to give up, and you're not going to know that no, that's the way it's supposed to be, because that when you fell in love, that there was no real reason. You didn't deserve to fall in love. It just happened to you. So that can't be real. That can't be something that can last. So the only way that it's going to last is only if you're going to work on your marriage. It's only going to work on your relationship. So how do you work on it? That once this infatuation runs out. So this is the disagreement that I never really discussed it with her. But if you read Chaim Levitan's book, so you get the impression that infatuation is actually a curse. That infatuation is the opposite of love.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I never really discussed this with her. So it could be that she agrees with me, but I don't look at it like that. That I don't look at infatuation as the opposite of love. I look at infatuation as the inspiration that can show you how awesome it can be. And it's not something to ignore. It's something that, and like, it's not like, meaning the difference is that if you're not in love with your husband or your wife, that when you're getting married, so it's not going to come later. Like a lot of teachers tell you, yeah, you don't have to feel these roses, these violins. You don't have to be in love with them. It'll come later. No, that's garbage. It's not going to come later. It could be that you are in love with them now and you're not going to be in love with them later. That's going to happen. But if you're not in love with them now, then you're not going to be in love with them later. Like you can deal with them. You can have a decent marriage with somebody you're not in love with, but don't let anybody trick you into thinking that it'll come later. You'll just be in.
That's what's happened for centuries. Don't you think the shtetl Jews?
I don't know about the shtetl Jews, but
Like, dating for approximately 2 weeks to like 3 months.
2 weeks is a bit short.
Let's say 3 months.
That's okay.
You can fall.
I've dated someone. It took me longer.
Took you longer to fall in love than 3 months?
It was long distance.
Okay, that'll do it. I'm against long distance relationships in the first place. So, anyway, so in the secular world, so you fall in love, then you fall out of love, and then you break up, because you don't know the secret of the Sefirat Haomer. You don't know that's the way that Hashem makes this reality is because He wants you to know how awesome it could be, and then it has to fall in order for it to be real, and then you're going to work on the relationship, and by working on the relationship, then it's going to get back to that place that it was at the beginning. Now, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Hashem. It's the same thing with Hashem. That we have this reality that it's it's a reality with Baalei Teshuva and converts that and this is, I like to say that Hashem is stronger than boys.
And what?
Than boys.
For sure.
Hashem is stronger than boys because
I hope so.
because how infatuated you're going to be with a boy is approximately a year between 10 months and 18 months, and only after between 10 to 18 months you're going to fall and say, oh my gosh, what did I do? Whereas with Hashem, when you're inspired with Judaism, so it usually takes 5 to 8 years before you get this fall. Okay, so be prepared that it's going to come at some point, but it's nice to know that Hashem is actually stronger than boys and girls. So
What do you do when you hit that fall?
so if you're dumb, if you don't know the secret of Sefirat Haomer, then you say, oh well, I guess it was a passing phase. I guess there was a time that I was into Shabbos, and I guess now I'm into something new. Now I'll just be into going to the beach, and now I'll just be into Buddhism, now I'll just be into some other religion. And that's if you're dumb. That's if you don't know that the way the world was created is that you need to have this drop. Okay? So, but if you know the secret of Sefirat Haomer, you know that initial inspiration, it couldn't have lasted because you didn't work for it. So the only reason why you had this inspiration is to know that how far can I make it, how awesome it could be, and then it's going to fall. And then once you work on it yourself and you earn it and you deserve it, then you can make it something which is sustainable. Okay? So this is something which is a consistent pattern in life, that good things cannot last because they just come down for no reason, and then they need to go away, because if they wouldn't go away, then we wouldn't be able to work for it, we wouldn't be able to earn it, we wouldn't be able to deserve it, and only after we deserve it, only after we work on it, after we develop the relationship, whether it's with a boy or girl, whether it's with Hashem, whether it's anything, that only after you work for it can it be something sustainable, because after you work for it, then it becomes a part of you. Okay, so this is why that original light, that original smile, that original inspiration, so it's something that could not last. That's why we need to have this down. That's why as long as we're in this situation of katnut, so the only way to appreciate life is to have a ratzov hashov, is to have these ups and downs, because in this, that before we actually earn things, before we actually work on things, so we're constantly going to need this, to have the down or to appreciate the up. Okay, and so now the thing is that at the end there is a resolution, there is a geula, and the Rabbi Tatz brings from the Vilna Gaon that it says a fascinating thing, that after a person dies, so there's an angel that asks us different questions about how we succeeded in this world. So he writes that angel that asks us the questions, if we were like lived up to par, so he says that we're going to recognize that angel, because that angel that asks us these questions at the end of our lives, that's the same angel that taught us the Torah in our mother's womb. So really, when he's asking us these questions, what he's telling us is that, I gave you the potential, I gave you the inspiration, that I showed you how great you could be, that how much did you live up to your potential? Okay, and that once you live up to something, once you make it to the top, once you worked on it, then once you earned it, so then it's something that's sustainable. And that's why that when we have the Geula, when we have the Mashiach, so then we're no longer going to need these downs. It's going to be something which is really part of us, and it's going to be something that is sustainable. We're going to have an eternal light, an eternal closeness, and that the way he writes it, we're going to have that umala haaretz datat Hashem, that the land is going to be full of deep understanding, and there will no longer be a need for lust. There will no longer be a need for yearning, because the connection will be something that we actually earned, that we actually developed ourselves. So this is what Sefirat Haomer is all about, and this is what the downs in life are all about, and so in this process of Geula, in this process of Mashiach, in this process of like seeing Hashem and everything, so we're in this unfortunate situation that Hashem is helping us, but Hashem can't show us all the way, because if He would show us all the way, then it would be pointless and it wouldn't be real, it wouldn't be sustainable. And so Hashem wants to show us this light, Hashem wants to show us this closeness, Hashem wants to show us miracles, and there's this constant dance between that I'm here, I'm not here. And we need to have these sacrifices, we need to have this down, we need to have this pain, this deep pain of loss, this deep pain of not being the way it's supposed to be. But we need to know that this is not something that needs to be forever. That once we get it, once we get the understanding of where we need to be, once we fight for it, once we earn it, once we get to the place of Geula, that by fighting for it, so then it's going to reach a reality that we're no longer needing to have any sacrifices, that we're going to appreciate goodness, just that in a constant way, in an eternal way. And so I bless us that this should be the last year that we're going to have these losses. We're going to have that we should appreciate how that all of this down, all of this karbanot is what brings us to an eternal light, an eternal goodness, and that that's why at the end of times there's going to be a tchiyat hamitim. There's going to be that all of the karbanot, all of these people that gave their lives for the future of the Jewish people, so they're going to come back and they're going to appreciate all of the good that they brought. It says that Shmuel of Nikolsburg said that when Mashiach comes, so every Jew is going to be able to appreciate that what they accomplished in bringing the Geula. Okay, part of the Geula is that everybody's going to appreciate that we're all part of this as a group effort, and every single Jew is going to feel the satisfaction of what they accomplished in bringing this situation of constant Geula. So B'ezrat Hashem, that this should be very soon, and we should really be we should have an appreciation of how hard it is to work when we don't see this constant light, when we don't see the constant inspiration, and we should certainly have an appreciation of all of the karbanot, all the sacrifices that are here in order for us to have all of this high. And B'ezrat Hashem should be a real, very close, imminent Geula. B'ezrat Hashem.